So we open with Fecal Bador trying to dissolve the 6 vials of fillers she put in her face because she can't recognize herself. Honey, either way you slice it, you ugly. Without the filler, you ugly. With the filler, you ugly. You don't recognize yourself because you're hideous. You have facial dysmorphia where you think you're attractive, but you're not. Noella goes with Fecal Bador to get her face fixed, and she starts whining about her husband's tax troubles and their house in Puerto Rico being underwater. Financially, that is. She thought they had 1 lien for $4 million, but they had 2 liens for 6. He's $6 million in debt. To the I, the R, and the S, child, you better leave him. Another gold digger who hit copper. If you were so excited about the friendship, then why did you bring up the lawsuit? Fecal Bador, you're nothing but a sorry liar. So now she wants to talk to Nicole. She's got a lot of lunches to schedule. Ooh. This rich auntie sky blue Hermes bag that Noella has on is everything. I'll put that on my Christmas list. Gina Heffer, nobody was hitting on you. She kept talking about your eyes because they're so beady. So she whined to her boyfriend about Shitten's actions. I don't know why you're expecting anything more from a less-ass bitch. And that's what Shitten Bador is. A less-ass bitch. She is really upset with Shannon because she's trying to isolate Heather and paint her as a different character, and I've been a friend. If we weren't on season 16, I could excuse your ignorance. But I can't excuse your ignorance or this confessional look. What's with this wire necklace bra? No. Meanwhile, Heather goes to meet the gay Robin Williams with his butt nose at the office. Child, Shitten Bador reached out to Heather trying to set up a meeting, and she said Shitten. I'm surprised I'm just hearing from you now, but I don't care to adjudicate your behavior over the past few weeks via text, nor do I have time in my schedule to listen to more of your rhetoric. The point isn't so much what you said, since there's nothing to hide. It's that you would pass on information that could be twisted to have hurt my husband, his career, and therefore our family. Family. Oh, and please spare me your supposed intentions. It's your actions that matter, and they are indefensible and inexcusable. Get her, Heather. Get her too and Gilda. Heather said Shannon really didn't like me from the get-go. And when white people say get-go, they for real. They dead ass. That's their version of dead ass from the get-go. Watch them. Watch them. You're going to be like, oh, okay. They taking it back to 2013. She's jealous because you have a faithful husband and she doesn't. So Noella trying to sell off their little house in Puerto Rico to pay off the IRS, but her lawyer husband don't want to. Why ain't he shown up on the show yet? Oh Lord, but after they freeze they hoo-has in cryo, they talk about Noella's sex dungeon. Why are they showing this? Show the husband. And that bed looked nasty. So Gina calls Shitten to sit down so they can talk about what happened at Heather's dinner party. And Shitten says that's a good idea. So now we're with Emily, and I was calling her Kelly. I'm sorry, these heifers have so much plastic surgery you can't tell them apart. I told you it was going to be a challenge. But this heifer's so happy that her husband just squeaked by the bar through the skin of his teeth. She wants to throw a big celebrate, and he's embarrassed, as he should be, because he didn't really earn it. Like most white men. Okay, look, we got the Mormon plotline over on Housewives of Salt Lake City. We don't need it over here, RHOC. However, Shitten Bador, Nicole the sewer, and Noella go to lunch together, and Shitten Bador is supposed to be apologizing, but she shows up late and she's not doing well. What, did you look in the mirror? Is that why you're not doing well? So Shitten starts off with her fake apology. I just didn't know who you were. She said you weren't Nicole Weiss. Why were you so obsessed whether it was Nicole Weiss or not? Why would you care? Why do you need to get so deep in her business? Because you're a hating heifer who ain't happy about your home. Nicole says, well, I don't think it's ever appropriate to bring up somebody's medical records. And Shitten says, well, I just shouldn't have trusted those girls, and I'll take full responsibility because I shouldn't have trusted them. So you're still putting it off on Gina and Kelly. I think it's Kelly. You know the heifer that Gina be rolling with. Nicole, you're an idiot. I can look at you, Shannon, and tell you're sincere. She's a sin, all right, but Sear ain't got shit to do with her. Shitten's like, nobody else is owning their part. I'm owning my part. But Heather doesn't want to engage. Because Heather's sick of your lies and you won't take ownership and you still want to say Gina ruined the party. So after the Dr. Heifer talk about her unfeeling mother, we find out why we ain't seen Noella's husband, because he sent her divorce papers from Puerto Rico in Espanol and cut off the credit cards. And Erica Jane tea. So Gina and Shitten invite Noelle out for a much-needed cocktail. So Shitten still trying to gaslight Gina, telling her it's her fault, and she says, you know what, Shitten, you're so focused on being right and I don't care. I'm telling you the truth. I'm not gonna let the heifer be embarrassed like I was. Why'd you tell Heather you couldn't trust me? As people you don't trust, then you shouldn't be going to dinner with me. I made a mistake and I'm an asshole for doing it, says Shannon. Gina, why do you still care about her at the end of the day if she literally just admitted to you she's an asshole? So Gina apologizes and Noelle comes back to the table. So she wants to know why this property that they own for a few months is such a big deal to the husband. Clearly it's a tax shelter and he's doing some illegal shit. And you out here with no money. A fool. At least Shitty O'Nostril knew enough to siphon. Hell, Shit Ray Whitfield kept her house in her mama name. Well, that was the shit. And just like that, we're back. So we open and Sarah Jessica's finally taking part in the conversation on her podcast rather than being a wallflower. Are we gonna find out Big was broke? Is that what's about to happen? Cause Carrie with Miranda and they going into some office building. Miranda finally listened to the podcast and she's very excited to go see Shay perform. I'm getting a whiff of lesbonics. Finally lesbonics. The truthful lesbonics. So they gonna cliffhanger us on the will and scoot over to Charlotte, getting pawned off on Stanford for a lunch. Oh Lord, now Stanford and Charlotte getting into it over who's Carrie's best friend. Charlotte ain't threatened by your friendship with Carrie. She's threatened by Carrie's lack of care about her. Carrie don't give a shit about Charlotte, and that's why Samantha left. Carrie's always been the star. Miranda knew she could never be a star, so she's fine being the funny best friend. The lesbian that makes you laugh. The Gina with the jokes. Big left $1 million to Natasha? How much is Carrie getting? That's what I want to know. $1 million to Natasha? Child, you could have given that to her while you was alive. We didn't find out how much Carrie got. Miranda's still barking for her wine, and Carrie is pissed that this heifer got a milli. Oh Lord, Charlotte's daughter's non-binary. So now Carrie going through Big's crap trying to find a password or a clue to see if he's been in touch with Natasha, and she finds a number in his pocket. A 347 at that. Could be a huzzy line. It was his own damn cell phone number. I can't believe it. The next day, Charlotte asked Mario Cantone what to do about her daughter not feeling like a girl, and he said, child, ignore it. It's, it could be a phase, it could stick. You just gotta wait and see. Later that night, Carrie called Miranda to let her know how much she didn't know Big. Big always seemed like the type of guy that had a mystery and a story behind him that he just never got around to telling you. Y'all was so on again, off again, and sneaking around, I ain't shocked. God, now she wants to have a grown-up conversation with Natasha for what? You won. You married him. You got more money than her in the will. God, so she didn't email the heifer. She ain't respond. And then she gonna message her on Instagram and get blocked. Well, I wouldn't give her $1 million. Fuck her. So Carrie tracked this heifer down at the job to see her. This girl just don't get the hint. Meanwhile, Miranda and Charlotte are waiting at the coffee shop, and Miranda hands Charlotte her bag, and you hear all this clink-clink of the mini bar that she's carrying around. Charlotte's like, what's going on? A drinking problem, and an obvious one. Miranda and Steve haven't been having sex for years. Oh, it's time for lesbonics. Lesbonics. Natasha's assistant came out and told Carrie she's in Rome. Have a nice day. Oh my goodness. So they walking past the building. They're like, she's right there. And she's literally right there. And then she was like, oh, look at her. And said, come down here. You want to talk so bad. They'll be like, oh. So Carrie's still walking, and she stops and visits Cynthia Nixon, and Cynthia just gives her the support she needs. And then she calls Charlotte and tells Charlotte, look, girl, you got to let me feel shitty in the city. My man dead. But look, I got to pee, so I'm going to get a coffee. I'm going to talk to you later. So she goes to pee, and who's in the bathroom pissing but Natasha? That's Tom Brady's first baby mama before Giselle snatched his ass. You hunt me down on social media, at my job, and now at the coffee shop, where next? The showers of Equinox? Carrie was like, this isn't even your neighborhood. And she's like, how you know where I live, heifer? I ain't got time to talk to you. Carrie, you could say, I want to know why my husband left you $1 million. So Natasha said, look, I don't want the money, give it to charity, I don't care. I don't know why he left it to me anyway. We haven't spoken in years. So Carrie says, well, he probably left you the money because he's sorry, and you know I'm sorry too. And she says, I'm sorry for your loss. And she's like, we okay, I just don't need to look at your ass on the ground. Later that night, we're at Shay's show, and she's killing it. Oh God, is Miranda finally gonna come out? Finally? The way she's looking at Shay, nodding her head, finally. Because they dabbled with her being a lesbian in season 1, but finally. Let's be honest about the lesbonics. Oh, child, Shay gonna give Cynthia a shotgun. Ooh, lesbian kiss. Back in the car with Charlotte and Carrie, Charlotte brings up Miranda's drinking. Carrie says, look, there's a lot to drink about right now. We all just sipping a little more. And we ended with Carrie walking back to the brownstone she used to live in. Is she gonna sell that apartment she has with Big? I guess we'll find out next time.